Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Welcome to the Srimad Bhagavatam class. Today is Tuesday, 23rd August 2016. We'll start with our prayers. Narayanam namaskritya
Narayanam namaskritya
Naram chaiva narottamam
Naram chaiva narottamam
Devim saraswatim vyasam
Devim saraswatim vyasam
Tato jayamudirayet
Tato jayamudiraye
Nashtaprayeshu bhadreshu
Nashtaprayeshu bhadreshu
Nityam bhagavata sevaya
Nityam bhagavata sevaya
Bhagavatya uttama shloke
Bhagavatya uttama shloke
Bhaktir bhavati naistiki.
Bhaktir bhavati naistiki.
Om namo bhagavate vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate
Vasudevaya.
Om namo bhagavate vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate
Vasudevaya.
Om namo bhagavate vasudevaya.
Om
Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Today we are going to discuss chapter 8 of the second canto. So we will chant one shloka from that chapter. Shloka number is 8. Chapter 8, Canto 2, Shloka number 8. Shanavata Shraddhaya Nityam
Namaः Shraddhaya Nityam.
Granatascha Swacheshtitam
Suchetitam.
Kalena Nati Dirghena
Dirghena.
Bhagavan Vishate Hridi.
Vishatirdi.
Shanavata Shraddhaya Nityam Granatascha Swacheshtitam
Swachetitam.
Kalena Nati Dirghena Bhagavan Vishate Hridi. I'm hearing one Mataji's voice, so she can chant.
Shranavata Shraddhaya Nityam
Shanavata Shraddhaya Nityam
Gunatascha Swacheshtitam
Granatascha Swacheshtitam
Kalena Nati Dirghena
Kalena Nati Dirghena
Bhagavan Vishate Ruddhi.
Bhagavan Vishate Hridi. Shanavataha, of those who hear.
Of those who hear.
Shraddhaya,
Shraddhaya.
in earnestness.
Earnestness.
Nityam,
Nityam.
regularly.
Regularly.
Always.
Always.
Granataha,
Namaः
taking the matter.
Taking the matter.
Cha,
Cha.
also.
Also.
Svacheshtitam,
Svacheshtitam.
seriously by one's own endeavor.
Seriously by one's own endeavor.
Kalena, duration. Na, not. Prati dirghena,
Dirghena.
very prolonged time. Bhagavan, the personality of Godhead Sri Krishna.
Personality of Godhead Sri Krishna.
Vishate,
Vishate.
becomes manifest.
Becomes manifest.
Hridi,
Hridi.
within one's heart. Persons who hear Srimad Bhagavatam regularly and are always taking the matter very seriously will have the personality of Godhead Shri Krishna manifested in their hearts within a short time. So please repeat. Persons who hear
Persons who hear
Srimad Bhagavatam
Srimad Bhagavatam
regularly
regularly
and are always taking the matter
and are
always
always
taking the
taking the
matter
matter
very seriously
very
very
seriously
seriously,
will have the personality of Godhead Shri Krishna
will
will have
have the
the
personality
personality
of
of
Godhead
Godhead
Shri
Shri
Krishna
Krishna
manifested in their hearts
manifested in their
in their
heart
heart.
within a short time.
within a short time.
Mm.
Thank you very much. Now you can mute your mics. So this chapter is called Questions by King Parikshit. You know, we saw in the 7th chapter how Lord Brahma answered the Narada's questions. And actually the real dialogue is between Shukdev Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj. In that, the reference of Brahma and Narada came, and that's how Brahmaji was speaking. So now Parikshit Maharaj is hearing, and he starts now asking questions. So this whole chapter is nothing but questions of Parikshit Maharaj. But they are so wonderful questions that all of us should learn from these how to ask a question. What type of question should be asked? It is a very, very nice way of learning through these great personalities. And as we will see, Parikshit Maharaj is not some Buddhu or just some princely king or something like that. No, he's highly knowledgeable. He knows, he's very intelligent, and his questions are perfect. So we'll just go one by one. His many questions, almost about 20 odd questions he is asking. So his first question is, how did Narada Muni, whose hearers are as fortunate as those instructed by Lord Brahma, explain the transcendental qualities of the Lord, who is without material qualities? And before whom did he speak? Because if you remember, Narada Muni was told by Lord Brahma that he should expand on all this. What he heard from Krishna, Brahma told Narada, and then he is telling Narada that please expand this knowledge. So now Parikshit Maharaj wants to know, where did he speak? Who was his audience? And then he's curious to know. And then he says, I want to know, like everybody else, like all the sages, what they wanted to know? They wanted to hear about Krishna. So Narada is not different, he's just saying, because naturally he's their leader. So he says, the king also wants to know the same thing. Not the Narada, the king. He also wants to know the same thing. He's just following the footsteps of great acharyas, great sadhus. So he says, I want to know about Krishna more, about his potencies, because I know that by hearing them, we will really get wonderful knowledge and also realizations. So he says, please continue, because anyway he is 7 days. In 7 days he wants to learn as much as he can before he leaves this body. So he says, please continue so that I can, it will help me in focusing. So Bhagavatam is like that, it helps us in focusing. Every day in the morning when I get up and I just, cursorily look at the chapter, and then I became motivated. Okay, so this is what I'm going to speak today, and that really keeps me going whole day. Because at the back of my mind, I'm seeing the purports of Srila Prabhupada and, the translations, and then I think, okay, what should I speak today? And then you want to read again and again sometime. Some wonderful points come. So he says, I just want to remove all this material contamination, whatever is there left in my body, my mind, my intellect. I want to get rid of all that. And then today's shloka comes, then he says, those who hear it regularly will have Krishna manifested in their hearts within a short time. So to get attracted to Bhagavatam doesn't take long. Once you get attracted, then the Bhagavatam to sink in, it doesn't take long. All you require is a little serious attention to whatever is being spoken. So this Bhagavatam is a sound representation of Krishna, incarnation, sound incarnation. Shabda Avatara. It's also called a Shastra Avatara. So it just enters into the heart of a devotee. And very, very poetically it says here, it sits on the lotus flower of his loving relationship and thus cleanses the dust of material association, like lust, anger, etc. So he says it is like in the autumn we get sometimes rains, especially in South India, the Chennai and all, they have two types. They get a little monsoon now, but in the autumn they again get rains. And then, by that time, because in monsoon everything becomes very muddy because of the rains. But in the autumn, all the dust has been already cleaned. So the raindrops are very nice. So like that, this Bhagavatam is like that, it just cleanses the dust of our material contamination. And then he's, as I say, I've been saying, he's telling also, asking also, like that. And then he says, once this heart is cleansed, then it's very easy to approach Krishna. Because then whatever we hear is satisfactory. No doubts are there anymore, and you want to just relish that nectar. And again, Bhagavatam gives one more example. He says, it's like somebody has gone on a long tour. So we have come here on a long tour on the material world. And then when you go back home, you feel very happy, right? After so many problems on the way, the tickets and bus and this and train and plane. But when you go back home, then you are so comfortable. You say, you feel peaceful, right? The same way, we try in material world so many things, but then when it takes shelter of Bhagavatam, it's like coming back home, because now here is nothing but pure katha. So he says, we have acquired this body accidentally. He's asking actually, he says, do we get this body accidentally? Like I've been born in a particular place with a particular parents. Is it accident or is there any cause behind that? Please explain. See, nice question, right? Why I'm here? How I came here? Who brought me here? What brought me here? Could I have been another place also? All these questions. And then he just goes back to the Virata Rupa, like Brahmaji was explaining the Virata Rupa of Krishna. So he says, Sri Krishna, Sri Vishnu, from where the lotus came out and Lord Brahma took birth. So what is the difference between that Virata Rupa of the Supreme Lord and our bodies? That body, the transcendental body of Krishna, the Virata Rupa, and body of a living entity. Is there anything common between them? Or is there a specific difference between them? Please explain. So today we will not get any answer. We will just get in the questions. Okay. And then he says, Brahma, he was actually not born from a material source, right? He came from the body of Vishnu, which is transcendental body. And then he is the one who is creating. Whom he is creating? He is creating all those who are materially born. He himself is not born materially, but he is creating. And then he says, Brahmaji was so fortunate to see the form of the Lord in his heart. So fortunate. So please explain how Krishna, Kshirodakshay Vishnu, enters into each of the hearts of all the souls, all the jivas, a super soul. How he becomes the Paramatma, Atma and Paramatma. And then he is himself not touched. Again, I told you last time also. This will come many, many times. This is like, clarifying any doubt that we have about Krishna. And he says, I heard just now, when explanation was there, then I heard that there's different universes, planets, they come out of the body of Vishnu, and then their respective governors, because each is ruled by somebody, they also come from the different bodies of different parts of the bodies of Virata Purusha. And then he says there are different planetary systems. Some is small, some is big. Everything comes out of there. So please explain to me, what is their actual position? How do they get this big, small? How it happens? Why not everybody is equal? Why there is a differentiation? So he wants to know that also. And then very wonderful question. He says, please tell me what is the time duration between creation and annihilation? When this is created and when this is annihilated. And then in between there are so many things happening. I want to know everything. See, all these questions would not have come to our mind if we are given an opportunity to ask some superior. And then he says, please explain me, what is this past, present, future we talk of? What is Kala? And then also the duration and measurement of life, different living entities. Devatas, human beings, others. For example, Lord, now Bhakta Prahlad, he says that everybody lives for 100 years. But then the scale of each person is different. We live for 100 years as per human scale. Dog lives for 100 years as per dog scale, but for our scale, it is only 14 years. Then elephant lives for maybe 200, 300 years, something like that. So different species, different plants even, some plants die within 1 week, some plants remain for hundreds of years. So how this happens? And same way, how different planets? Please explain. And then he says, please also tell me why there is in summer the days are longer and in the winter the days are short, right? We are seeing that happening. When the sun goes north and then sun goes south, things change. So he says, when this all started? When was the first time it happened? Please tell me. And then he says, how, we say that we have acquired, we keep accumulating our karma phala, right? From the previous life, from this life, we keep accumulating. So how is it decided that how much accumulation is there? How, how things are happening? How the people's desires are fulfilled or not fulfilled? And then how the person either is promoted to the higher planets or demoted to, is sort of asking this Bhagavad Gita class questions, Bhagavad Gita questions. There it is explained to some extent, right? But he wants to know more. I want to know right from, he says, the most exalted Devata to a insignificant creature. What is the duration? And then he says, I want to know about the 4 directions of heaven, the sky, the stars, the mountains, the rivers, the seas, the islands. How all this takes place? We never think about all this, right? Also, please describe inner space and outer space of the universe. And then character and activities of the great souls. That's very important, So because that's where we learn the maximum. When we read some, like for example, when I came into Krishna consciousness, in the beginning, there was so much confusion. Why we should join this organization? What is wrong with others? Why it is only Krishna, like that? And then, luckily, for me at least, I got the Prabhupada Leelamrita. The biography of Srila Prabhupada. And that changed me completely. That made me very, very resolute. No, I must join, because look at this person. How great he is. How much pain he has taken to start this. And not only start, even after starting, how many things he had to undergo. And still he achieved something unbelievable those days. So, I want to know about them. I want to know about Varnashrama. What is Varnashrama? Why there is a divisions? What kind of divisions are there? What are their characteristics? And then I want to know about the sages, different sages. And then also about various, I heard a little about all these 24 avatars, but I want to know in detail. How in this, for example, avatars being spoken, but which yuga it happened? Narsimha came in which yuga? Vamana came in which yuga? Is it Satya Yuga? It's like that. He wants to know everything. And then he says, I want to know about general people, why they are attached to one religion, second other religion, how they behave in their religions, what is their occupational duties, what classifications are there, how the Kshatriyas and then the Brahmanas, and I want to know everything. And then also, when you are in distress, what kind of a religious principle you should follow. So you can see his questions are deep, and that's why Bhagavatam has 18,000 shlokas, because the answers have to be elaborate with these kind of questions. Then he says, I want to know what are the elementary principles of creation, their causes, their development. And then, of course, he's also asking about the Siddhi and Bhakti. Siddhi meaning attaining some mystic powers, becoming small, becoming heavy, becoming light, creating planets, like that. So I want to know about them. And then please tell me about the opulences of these great mystics. And by this getting this opulences, what is their ultimate goal? What is their ultimate realization? Are they just getting that, or they get something more than that? And how these people get detached from their bodies? They go from one planet to other planet, and you can have a journey within intraplanetary journey. And then he says, please explain me about these Vedas, Itihasa, Puranas, Bhashya, all the Vedic thing. I want to learn from you. Please. I want to know how things are generated, how they are maintained, and how they are annihilated. We know now that it is Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, but how is it happening? And then also, specifically, I want to know what is the advantage of becoming a devotee. And what is the disadvantage also? Please explain to me what is the advantage, what is the disadvantage. And whether the devotee follows the Vedic rituals or not follow, And then what is the procedure for your Artha, Kama, Moksha? I want to know. Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, right? These are the four people talk of all the time. They want to become expert in that maximum. But the devotee goes beyond that, He just is not interested in Dharma, Artha, Kama, nothing. Moksha, definitely not. So he says, why bad kind of people appear in this world? Those who don't believe in God, even they are there, I am told. They are also going to be there always. So why they are there? Explain. How these people come into being and how they exist. So he says, although the Lord is not involved in any of these things, in the sense he himself personally is not involved. But he's seeing, he says. He sees everything from creation to the annihilation. Right? He sees it. So this is not a question. He just says, by his own will, he decides what to do next. So now he says, "Oh, Shukadeva Goswami, you are representative of Krishna. Please satisfy me. I want to know everything from you. I asked you so many questions. And then even if I not asked you something, you are free to tell me." Because he knows that sometimes, we don't even ask a question. We don't have the capacity or we forget or something. So he says, please cover that up for me. Tell me. Because now exactly like what Arjuna tells Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, that now I'm a surrendered soul to you, please tell me. Like Arjuna says, so here Parikshit Maharaj, his grandson, also talks like that. Then he says, he's just praising him again, because he wants to get a good knowledge through him. So he says, you are good as Brahma. Then I know that you are not a speculator. I know that you have heard it from the right source, so you can tell me exactly. And then your speeches are like nectar. I just want to drink that nectar. And I will never be exhausted. He says, don't worry about me. I'm fasting, but I don't care. I want to hear this. So then Sutta Goswami starts talking now. He says, this way, Shukadeva Goswami was asked these questions by Parikshit Maharaj, and he was very pleased. So he starts now explaining to Maharaj Parikshit all these questions he asked. Because he has heard it from Brahmaji, who has heard it from, he has heard it from, of course, from his father, Vyasadeva, who has heard it from Narada, who has heard it from Brahma. So this disciplic succession is there. So please explain me. And then Shukadeva Goswami is now going to answer. And he was very pleased. It says, Shukadeva Goswami says, Sutta Goswami says, Shukadeva Goswami was very pleased. And now he's going to answer. So hopefully tomorrow we'll try to get all the answers for these questions. Okay. So thank you very much. I'd like to stop here. If you have any questions, comments, please go ahead. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Bhaiya, Namaskar Naam.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you for Bhaiya for bringing up such a beautiful verse. I was looking for this verse, by which we can explain the importance of Srimad Bhagavatam to the people, when we go out for preaching or for book distribution. This is the most amazing verse. I really liked it, Bhaiya. Thank you so much.
Even the third verse is also good. Third and fourth. Actually, as I was going through, I was deciding between the two, third or fourth, and I said, no, fourth tells everybody that you should hear it regularly. Like, we are chanting every day, Nashta Prayashu Avdareshu, Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. It also confirms.
Yeah. Most of the time when we go out for preaching of Srimad Bhagavatam, then I was thinking that which verse I should open out and show it to the people that, okay, look, what Bhagavatam can do to you is what.
There are a series of them. Actually, if you see the previous chapters also, I have chosen these kind of verses only, so that maybe I can make a list and send you, so that you can use it for, everybody can use it for their preaching.
For the preaching, yes, Bhaiya.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Bhaiya.
Hare Krishna. Anybody else has any question or comment?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. So today is questions from Parikshit Maharaj were very nice. So we are waiting for answers now.
Yeah, of course. Because answers are naturally more important. But then, as I said, questions are also important, because You ask sometime, ask a bad question and you get a bad answer. You remember there's one book, small book, which says perfect questions, perfect answers.
Yes, Prabhuji.
So that's again, one missionary from US, he goes to India and then he meets Prabhupada ji, and all his questions, Prabhupada liked it so much that he made a book out of it.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. So then we'll want to have darshan.
Yes.